Hey everyone, this is part 2 of the Monster CDM show, so take it away, start off.
So, moving on to day 3, which was
Right.
which was switched, right? Because it used to be the other way around, but now match race was on day 3.
Can we jump straight to the final on that one and just say? I mean, we could talk about it at length just after I say this, but that final between Scoob and Sami, hands down, the best match I've ever seen.
High praise. I've seen a couple of very good ones. The scoreline of this one, of course, is perhaps the most unexpected comeback of all time in a SMK match, or at least a final.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there was something special about this match. I think it was me and you, Carol, on commentary. I mean, I was a little tripled up, but I do recall doing the commentary and exclaiming, "Okay, this is over. Wrap it up. Nothing to see here. Sami has 6 match points. Forget about it. 5. Just 5.
Yeah, just 5.
But well, if you haven't seen it, just that's the one you gotta watch if you watch one thing from the CDM. I guess.
Oh, absolutely. For 2018 matches, that one is uncontested. Best one.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's because I can't remember any of the really good ones. I know there's a GP final which springs to mind between Sami and Neo, which I remember being really good, but I can't think of any other matches which came close to that one. I think it might well have been the commentary on the stream as well.
You may very well be right, though. That is the best match ever. I haven't watched it back yet, so...
I think for a long time, or up until this CDM, people were saying that, I think it was the match race final from 09, was it? Or 11, where Sami gets all the lightnings. I think
that's every year.
09, yeah.
Yeah, 09. And then it was the Captain Thunderbolt preview before CDM. And I think that match was often cited as the best or the most memorable.
Most memorable, at least.
CDM match. And I think this one supersedes it. This year's match race final. I think that's the new one to mention every time, people reminisce about that one crazy match they saw at CDM. Hey, do you remember this one?
Yeah, definitely. It was brilliant from start to finish. Like the quality of driving was really, really good. Sami was just on it the whole day. And when he got to 10 points at match point, you just wrote Scoob off, and then Scoob just kept plugging away, and you're like, oh shit, he might actually draw close, you might tie, and then, oh crap, he's gone and won. It was really exciting to watch. Really, really good.
I gotta say that I have no feeling that Sami thought it was over. I think
Sami might have thought it was over. We certainly did, just because he was marching away with it at that point as well.
Yeah. And he was within 0.2 of a second of getting that last win at least twice.
Yeah.
On DP1, I believe, and VL2.
VL2 was the one that sticks out to me, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that sticks out, because it was 1 R tap away from just crossing the finish line.
That was it, yeah. Aside from that, though, I think, because there was quite a lot of unexpected people getting into the knockout stages. And is that down to the fact that there was quite a lot of people who weren't there this last year, like high-level players who weren't there?
Yeah, so Gio and Harold would typically make the top 16, yes. They were not there. And all the other big... Gatchan, exactly.
Yeah.
And Cedric can also make top 16 in battle match race. And that's, I think, all the big hitters that were missing.
Yeah, I don't want to take anything away from anyone, because it's great to see new people getting into making like quarters and stuff. But yeah, I think the standard was really high. Like certainly between we know how good the top guys are, how Scoob and Sami and Flo and all that, but like how everyone, I don't know what you want to call the B players or something. I don't know who they just the level of everyone has raised significantly in the last sort of year or two. And if you're not on your game as a top player, I think there's plenty of people who can beat you these days.
Yeah, so I haven't been following too closely the last few years, I guess. But just seeing Connor and Layla, that may be the standout performances to me. Just how crazy good those two are, and they can take down anyone at any time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
Very
am
good.
fully focused when I'm playing against Connor and Layla. Make no mistake.
Right. They're not
Definitely.
the 12-year-olds of yesteryears.
No. If you make one mistake, they will punish you. And even if you don't make mistakes, they can punish you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, like even talking about sort of players like someone like Martin
Oh.
or even Aaron, Christian Wild, just like all these players who are on their day could beat sort of the really, really.
So
top
shout
players.
outs to Aaron for actually making top 4 in match race.
I know, it's crazy.
Beating Jay in the quarterfinal. Like Jay qualified very well in the group stage, and he had a pretty quote unquote easy bracket. He avoided Scoop, he avoided Sami, he avoided Neo, he avoided me. So pretty much, I think that was his plan. Like, if I can avoid those top guys, I can probably make the top 4 and have a shot at the medal. And then he faced Aaron, and Aaron was unchained. I've never seen Aaron play match race to that level, or multiplayer, or SMK in general. He was making all the right choices, no driving mistakes.
His group stage was also really good. He got fit in group stage, and he had said, I overheard him saying throughout group stage that he was feeling really hot that day. He was playing really well, and at first when I first heard it, I'm like, it's just Aaron being Aaron, like he's just talking himself up as usual. But really, he was incredibly impressive.
Yeah. He was definitely impressing everyone that day.
But also worth noting, crazy that Martin brought him to double match point in round of 16.
Mm-hmm.
That went 5-4 for Aaron.
This was only Martin's second CDM. Like, Aaron has already participated in CDM since 2008, I'm gonna say.
No,
maybe
Martin's
9.
third. Yeah.
And Martin, is this the third?
Third. His first one was 2015.
Right.
Did 2015, 2016. It wasn't there last year.
Yeah.
2018.
But he is, if he keeps improving like this, he will potentially be a top 5 contender in 1 or 2 years from now, I think.
Yeah.
Overall.
So he definitely deserves a shout out. What a great guy, and I think he's one of the talented gamer sort of guys, right? He also had a couple of wins from the Nintendo Championships back in the 90s under his belt.
Yep.
So he knew. No, how was it? He did not know Patrick or Steven, but Steven at least knew Martin by name.
I think it was the PlayStation Championships or something like that.
No. It was the Nintendo Championships.
They not cross paths?
Nintendo Championships, but Nintendo had one game on PlayStation as part of the championship.
Ah, okay.
Which is like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, they were talking about that. That was kind of fun interaction. Yeah, I hope Martin pulls through on his promise and improves his time trials.
He's already pretty high ranked at time trials, actually.
What is he?
He's 22nd overall.
Okay, that is pretty high. Yeah, so fine. He doesn't need to improve that, I guess. But he certainly impressed me with his driving, because I haven't even seen him drive before, I think. And he did pretty well in all the modes, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
He made it to top 10, unlike some of us.
Right.
Harsh.
Finally, Carol gets one on Lafongo, huh?
Yeah, it's okay. Him and I made the same number of quarterfinals this year.
All right.
It's okay. I blame Chris Wilde for my shortcomings.
So I guess we gotta mention the medals again. Like, Scoop wins the gold, Sami obviously the silver, and then the bronze medal playoff was a whitewash.
Yeah, a bit of a landslide there.
Because Aaron was 2 liters beer further than his match against Jay in the quarterfinals, and he got 9-0'd.
I have a story actually relating to Aaron and his top 4 that is probably more interesting than the matches he played. So before he went to play Scoob, he was saying that he was going to demolish, that his goal was to win one track, win one round. So I told him, hey Aaron, if you get 9-0'd, like if you lose 9-0, I will buy you a beer. And so he goes down, he sits down on stream, plays against Scoob. First track he wins, and then he gets 9-1. And after that, he plays Neo for third place, and he gets 9-0'd again. So he lost 18 rounds in a row, which I think is a record. Hard to do worse, really.
And I've got to say, I was watching both those matches, maybe even commentating on them. And even though obviously the winner was without question, I think the scores were a bit lopsided. Like, he was a bit unlucky not to win at least a few. Against both Scoop and Neo, it could have been like 9-3, 9-4, and that would have been more fair.
That's true. Aaron was still playing fairly well, although his level had dropped compared.
His level had dropped, but still he would have.
He started drinking at that point.
Yeah, but with a slightly better items and like scenarios that could have easily gone his way, he could have gotten a few points more and should have.
Absolutely. But regardless, the score was what it was. And so the next day, because I'd only mentioned this prior to the Scoop match, so the next day I went and bought him a beer, and he was ecstatic. And he said, "Oh, I made it all worth it." It's probably the first time I bought someone a beer in my life.
It had to be Aaron, huh?
Of course.
And hey, let's not demonize any sort of drinking. Drinking's a great thing.
Absolutely. There's no demonizing happening here.
Do I hear a donk?
Donk?
Donk.
Well, now I have to take 3 drinks. Thanks, guys.
One of my fondest
I'm
memories
gonna have
of
to
the
refill now.
So good. So we're on to GP.
Yeah, let's do it. No one wants to take the honors.
If you don't actually want to move on to GP, I'll just mention real quick that Sami drew against the 6 players in the group stage top 8 that he played against.
Oh,
that's all I have to say. Just
Stats.
6 draws.
Lafongo making up statistics on the fly.
And he had 8 wins and 6 draws, and yeah, impressive in its own right.
Unlike his Grand Prix group stage, where he won
Grand Prix.
all his matches. Again, just like battle mode. 14 wins, 0 ties, 0 losses.
Yeah.
Perfect group stage for Sami.
And then Jay again had an insane group stage.
But he was ranked behind me, though.
He was 4th. He was ranked behind 2 other players with the same win-loss record.
Yeah. So I got 2nd place seed, which I was very happy with, because then you avoid the big guns at least until the semifinals. And I know Sami, Scoop, and Neo are better than me at Grand Prix at multiplayer, so they would normally win. So I got that 2nd seed by virtue of winning more races. Like, I was having, like Lafongo mentioned, the same number of losses, 3 losses, 11 wins. Just by winning a couple of tracks more during the day, kind of accumulating a few more points, I got the 2nd seed ahead of.
Didn't Neo finish 5th in that one?
Neo finished 5th.
Yeah.
And people were thinking he was sandbagging just to maybe meet Scoop earlier on in the bracket, so he could eliminate Scoop and then claim the World Championship title. But that's not what he was doing.
No.
He was just struggling a little bit.
Carol,
Really?
I don't mean to contradict you, but my understanding of the Belgian system, which remains limited, I admit, is that your scores during matches actually don't matter. And that aside from win-loss, the only thing that matters, again, to my understanding, is the people you play against.
Right.
So, and unless, because I think we were watching some old CDM matches.
No, you're actually right, yeah.
During lunches, and Patrick was trying to figure that out by talking with Joe while he was on commentary, and Joe, as in Belgian Joe, was in Twitch chat. Now, this was during a match, and Patrick was trying to figure out whether winning 3-1 or 4-0 in battle mode mattered at all. And at that point in time, this was in 2016, it didn't matter. So I don't think the system has changed since then.
No, because quite often you see people sort of, I don't know, ranked at a 6th or something in a group stage with, say, a win-loss of about 8 wins, 6 losses.
Yeah.
And you'll see a similar record or someone that's sort of 18th or something. But it's just down to the quality of the people you've been playing against, right?
Yeah. So I think again, this is based on my understanding of the Belgian system. But I think that the ranking there, the second, third, and fourth, actually came down to who you, Carol, Scoob, and Jay played against in group stage, and how those other players did in group stage.
No, absolutely. I managed to get a win in against Neo, which may have weighed heavily.
And you also got a win on Scoob.
Yeah,
which
that's
I think
probably
those two are probably, which gave you only beat Scoob by a single point out of a possible 1,000, which is insane. Not that it didn't affect, well, it affected bracket to the extent that you ended up playing against Anti-Star in the quarterfinals.
That was a good match.
That was a great match.
For better or for worse.
Maybe the best quarterfinal of the entire CDM.
Could be. Yeah, that had some real swing. Both of us were very, very frustrated at different points in the match. We are both players that really react to the circumstances. You can easily see from our body language if we're doing well or not.
Yeah.
More so than like Scoop, for example. By defeating me in the semi-final, he got the overall title effectively. And you didn't even see him react. Like I would have at least jumped out of my chair or something. But no.
He wanted that title.
He wanted the Grand Prix gold medal as well, I guess, yeah.
There is one group stage match I would like to highlight, and no, it is not one of my own. We don't talk about my Grand Prix group stage.
Now I'm curious. I wasn't, but now I'm definitely gonna check those out.
So the match that I highly recommend watching, if you can find it in the Twitch VOD or just wait until it's uploaded to YouTube, is Anti-Star versus Neo. It's a Mushroom Cup, and it's interesting. It's a good one. So
to be honest, I think
recommend that one.
And I'm probably gonna get slaughtered for this, but that's fine. I think the day 4, the Grand Prix part of CDM had the most close matches or interesting matches and back and forths, and yeah, there are some 45-0s and stuff, but never mind that. The close matches were just so good on average.
I think part of that has to do with like CPU shenanigans and just like the mode in general.
It's sort of the mode's way, yeah, but
and the way the points are scored, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, there's a reason why it's the last mode. Yeah,
it's like what 100-meter dash is to track and field is probably what Grand Prix is to CDM.
Even though the mode sucks.
Well,
let's be real.
100-meter dash
it's the flagship
sucks as
mode.
well. Well, we may need the legend for that.
Come Legends, yeah.
Shoutouts to Come Legend.
That is probably my personal highlight of watching on the stream, apart from the match race, was Silver Jesus versus Come Legend.
Yeah.
That match happened at some point. It wasn't
did.
on stream. Yeah.
Oh, I actually left the stream at that point to go watch the match.
That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
I mean, like, if people think we're joking about his name, he's actually called Come Legend. I think it's pronounced differently.
Yes, it will. I'll grace the stream with a proper pronunciation.
Oh wow.
Cum. That's his first name. Cum.
That's a lot of work.
And Legendre, right?
Legendre, yeah.
Comme Legendre.
So, Comme Legendre.
It's not far off.
Yeah, it's not that
Come
far.
Legend.
Come Legend, yeah.
Come Legend. Brilliant.
Anyway, I was saying about Grand Prix, how there's like I hate using this word, but I can't not, so it's kind of more interesting because there's a narrative with the point system. So you win one, you lose one, but it still matters how much you lost, how much, and there's 5 races, so it's a bit different than just match race, right? In every way, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
And to Bernier's big relief, there's less emphasis on items, so that's good.
In a way, but there is more emphasis on trolling, because you can actually get more than one win if you destroy your opponent and make him rank worse than second.
I like that part.
Him or her.
Right. Well, yeah. But
if you want to see that in play against a female, watch me versus Sophie on the French stream.
I wasn't aware I wanted to, but now I do.
I'm guessing she won.
Oh, watch the match. You'll see.
Was it Star Cup?
It was a flower cup.
Okay, then I don't know.
It was commentated by my father, which makes it even better.
Shoutouts to Mr.
Oh,
Facepalm.
I gotta watch that one back then. Absolutely. I will do that right after this podcast. In fact.
Also, just Clark, before you silently faff off, like you usually do around this point, if you didn't see the Narne battle mode clip, that is something you need to check out. Because we were talking about Sami being passive in battle mode.
Nana is the worst at that. It was a Battle Course 4, was it?
Yeah, came to a full stop and just stayed there.
With a feather.
Feather on top of an item box. Well, we're done.
Very typical.
And also, there is a specific rule after Narne, which is
Isn't
if
it
the match is dragging on too long, it's advised to play map 1 again after map 3 instead of map 4, just to shorten the duration of the match.
Yeah.
And this is, of course, dubbed the Narne rule, because it's only necessary, or mostly only necessary, because of Narne participating.
If you would like to see it being enforced live on stream, I recommend checking out a match from CDM 2016 between Narne and Lafungo.
Is that one uploaded?
That one is uploaded, yes. Yeah. You can find it via the FFSMK website.
Because I'm going to go to sleep after this, and I guess that's a good as good a lullaby as any.
Just make sure you stay until the climax.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
And the person doing the refereeing is no less than the great Neo.
Who at the time was president of the association.
Was he speaking English
Federation.
at the time?
Well, you can't hear him. You can see him.
Oh, that's... Well,
you can see what he does to enforce the rule.
Ah, all right. Anyway, regarding that rule, which I get it I get it, but it was also a similar rule for Grand Prix, I heard. If you don't like Special Cup much and your opponent doesn't like Special Cup, you can do Mushroom.
Yeah, or even Star Cup.
Only for newbies, for like the low-level players who would struggle to beat the CPUs without any other interference.
I remember seeing a match between Ni and Helios.
My lord.
And they struggled with Mushroom Cup.
I struggled with commentary. That's what I did.
Yeah, because that match was streamed. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good match.
I mean, it's cool that everyone gets a chance to be on stream. That's fine. But they didn't quite manage to finish the cup. and this is for CDM legends, for the myths of CDMs to come. Ni actually managed in his group stage match versus Sophie to fall asleep.
Yes.
He was just bouncing into walls all over, and I think the rhythm got to him and he lulled himself into sleep. So Sophie was telling me this, and I'm like, well, haha, that's funny. And then she goes like, no, look over there. And it actually happened.
He is the fall asleep champion though, isn't he?
During your match?
Yeah, he has defeated Drew.
The champion de la sleep.
Yeah. Did you guys know, I mean, David Moll's Nitran stories aside, Carol, that he used to be a martial arts competitor?
Well, he's Asian, so yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
That was tongue in cheek, obviously.
Yeah.
No, like 3-4 years ago, he's in good shape and doing martial arts, and
all right.
some things happened.
Well, the thing with him, I don't understand why you'd come all the way to a CDM and then spend all of it sleeping. It just seems stupid to me. And he'd be sleeping under tables and everything. Remember from last year, and anytime you looked at him, he's just asleep like a hobo underneath the table, just like Drew used to. Yeah.
Well, do you know which martial arts he was good at? Was it karate or?
I forget what it said, but yeah. So I'm not gonna guess, but it was on his Facebook.
Kind of curious now.
So he's You know what I usually say before and after the fall. He's taking a plunge. But was he always like that sleeper champion? I mean,
Yeah. And previous CDMs he attended, he was also always asleep, but not during matches.
well, during a match, it's quite special.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But he's not participating CDM with the idea that he will become world champion.
I love that there are people who participate just to play some SNK. I think that's great. I would do the same if I could.
Hmm.
All right, so what's more for CDM 2018? I mean, we went through all the modes, I believe.
Well, hold on, we're not done with GP.
Took us a while.
I know you're trying to move this along, but still,
No,
I
that's fine.
have something to say first. If you're listening to this at a later date, hey Chris, fuck you. Because so the story behind that is that Chris Wilde 2 years ago at his last CDM got 4th in Grand Prix, and then this year for whatever reason, well, the reason allegedly being that his controller broke, but this year he ended up finishing 17th in group stage, and to my great dismay, that meant that I, having finished 16th of group stage, had to play him to get into top 16. And that was not fun. And it cost me the top 10 on the overall ranking.
Yeah, and top 16 in the Grand Prix bracket, because
and also
every
having
other
qualified
opponent,
for every mode. Yeah.
Chris Wilde was by far the strongest driver. Like aside with Lafango, like by far the strongest opponent he could possibly face in the barrages.
Yeah, it was harder than many possible top 16 matches.
Absolutely, because he was top, like mentioned before, he was top 4 2 years ago at Grand Prix.
And so that match, I believe, was streamed on the French on the FFSMK stream. And I think if you watch that, you can observe what despair feels like, just visually.
So what are you trying to do, Lafango? So I'm just gonna spend the rest of my day or night watching old Lafango videos of you.
So well, I didn't only mention my own match, but yes, there are a substantial number of them.
Right. Okay.
I'm just giving some hints of where to start your CDM VOD watching experience.
Right, and I think that's going to be an important part of the director's cut. The YouTube version of this is going to have a lot of juicy CDM links.
Especially since I hope by then Scoob will be back from vacation and uploading more videos to YouTube directly, so you don't have to go scavenging through Twitch VODs.
No, don't do that. That's just too much. But Scoob, he deserves a vacation, huh? I mean, it's gonna take a while for those videos to get uploaded, but that's fine. Take all the vacation you need, Scoob.
He deserves it.
Mérité.
Because aside from being world champ, he also put a huge amount of work for the community.
Yeah,
absolutely. Speaking about Mérité,
right?
You are the Prix de Mérite winner, Lafango.
Was that the banana?
That was the banana.
It is not a banana. Small correction.
Right.
It is in fact a banana case.
Shaped like a banana.
I did
not
think
like a banana.
It was an actual banana.
Right. I'm glad we had to clear that up for people who may have only seen the picture.
Right.
Of myself with my prize. So it is in fact not a banana. It is a container that is shaped like a banana.
Yeah.
And the only thing you can really put inside of it is a banana.
Right.
that is the correct size and curvature.
Can you get like a curved dildo in there, or is it just banana?
I feel like due to the endpoints,
right,
it may be a bit tricky to have a curved dildo in there.
This is going to be an extreme curveball, but are you still with us, Dan?
Oh yeah.
Right.
And so another thing to note with this banana case, Prix du Mérite, is that it does not close properly. So the seal part of it, like the part that the two halves of the thing that are supposed to close together, the end points don't close properly, so they're still like slightly open.
But there's a very natural follow-up question here. Did you ever, or did anyone ever in any life find themselves in a situation where you go, damn it, I needed a banana case? I mean, the banana has its own casing.
That's true.
You're gonna use this?
What if you have a naked banana?
Yeah, that has never happened to me.
No, it goes bad after 1 minute.
What can I say?
Yeah, it's 1 minute. Yeah, basically.
Well, maybe if you had a banana case to preserve it in, then you wouldn't have that problem.
2 minutes.
If you have a banana case that closed properly.
Also, potentially.
So the only purpose it serves, which is very, very minor and exceptional, it does not serve.
Yeah, but what I can say about it is that I am fairly certain that I am the only person in the entire SMK community to have one of those. So Scoob may have won a trophy, but I have the more unique prize.
It's sort of wooden spoon, right?
No, it's best improver.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
no, I know the reasoning behind, but the wooden spoon is more useful. Come on.
Well, it's not about being useful.
But Prix de Mérite has actually, in the past, not only been rewarded with the biggest improver, but also once Patrick got it for his volunteering for the stream and not like sacrificing his own playing experience, just managing the scores. And he could have gotten it based on that again this year.
Yeah.
And another year, Aaron got it for maturing and not acting like a complete kid and jackass for an entire CDM.
All right.
I think it was referenced in the speech that Aaron managed to not completely trash the toilets, and that's why he got a Prix de Mérite 1 year. And now Lafango is mentioned in the same breath, so.
Yeah.
Well, if this means I get 4th in match race next year,
oh wow,
so
yeah,
it's okay by me.
Well, you already have a almost win against me.
That's true.
CDM 2019 training, which has already started.
And Project Timmy
Lo and behold.
2.0.
That started sooner than I expected. I thought you guys were going to have a bit of a
Sooner than I expected.
Yes, it definitely started sooner than Carol was expecting.
Okay.
What was it, 3 days after CDM ended?
Yeah. I mean, I was playing SMK the day after CDM ended.
Isn't there a law against that?
I was not the only person playing SMK that soon after CDM. I'll give special shout outs to JDR, aka Jerome Coiffard, and also Sophie, as well as Chris Wild, for all playing SMK within 2 or 3 days after CDM.
Okay, this is going to take a turn. There was only one correct thing to play after Grand Prix final.
Oh,
Circuit breakers.
Yes.
Yes.
But unfortunately, there's no way to play circuit breakers at the House of Gaming.
Really?
That's
At
technically not even true.
No.
At least no way that is
Acceptable.
easily accessible or acceptable at present time.
Right, that's true.
So PS3 works, but that's yeah.
I mean, I have a PS2 as well.
Yeah,
Wow.
well, that's fine for 2-player, but you don't have a multi-tap, I take it.
That's true. We definitely don't have a multi-tap, and we don't have a 4th player because we could recruit Patrick as our 3rd, but
Patrick is enough as
could play as 2.
Yeah.
Give him a controller in each hand. He has the skill required.
I think Yvonne might like it actually. Circuit breakers is very accessible.
It's true.
Sure.
Mole strats.
Oh,
Shout out to Mole.
I think I might have a PS2 multi-tap.
I think you did at some point.
Yeah.
So there we go. We'll also have to throw that into the Project Timmy mix.
No, come on. Let me have one game, guys.
You have micro machines. Circuit
Yeah.
breakers is for us.
Oh. Oh, well. I'm going to have to put together my own Project Psycho now.
Yeah, you have to get Ulf over every weekend.
That's going to be tough. But actually, the last time I played him, he was doing super well.
He's a talented gamer, actually.
He doesn't play much, but yeah.
Yeah, but
He can do well if he wants to. Sure. He picks up things much faster than me.
It comes with the territory of being younger, I believe.
Fucking younglings.
I feel targeted here.
No offense, no. Well, are you young?
I'm 12.
Ah, 12. The myth is real.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I was saying.
So-
Dan's been in the SMK community for longer than I've been alive.
Well, then, you picking up stuff fast and winning the most improved player seems to make sense then.
I suppose so, yes.
Right.
Doesn't stop me from being bitter because I missed out on top 10. That's all right. It was still a good CDM.
What were your I don't know goals for CDM?
So what I'd been telling myself before CDM is that I wanted to qualify in every and then make one quarterfinal. Those were my big goals. Top 10 in the overall wasn't even there.
No.
But I actually got very, very close to reaching that original goal. I only just barely missed out on Grand Prix qualification because I played against Chris Wilde and Barrage. And really that happened because of my last 2 group stage matches. But we don't talk about those. So, yeah.
I'll just watch them.
Those are definitely not recorded.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That being said, if you do want to watch another Grand Prix match, I highly recommend the final, the grand final. That was another really good one. Sami versus Scoob.
Yeah, I rewatched that yesterday, I believe, and I gotta say, watching it live felt more like it was one-sided, but watching it back, that one was dead even. I mean,
It was great.
yeah, Sami got the first 3 wins, but all of those were down to like a coin flip's worth of difference.
Yeah, it was just like the Anti-Star versus Martin match in Battle Mode Barrages I was talking about. Same score line, except it was way higher level and more interesting and more intense.
Right. Yeah, I think Scoob
So, yeah.
played great during the Grand Prix, except for... well, he didn't do mistakes. I mean, it's SMK. Stuff's going to happen.
I missed quite a few Zoom starts, actually.
Oh,
That's
that
true,
he did. Yeah, that is true.
Also against me in the semi-final, he missed a bunch of Zoom starts. But he managed to pull back because I made mistakes and he did not. And a mistake is worth more than a Zoom start, typically.
Right.
In Grand Prix, yes.
Yeah. In match race, no, but in Grand Prix, it takes forever to get back to full speed.
Oh, I also want to mention the third place match, which almost no one got to see at the venue. There were only 3 spectators for that match, which were Narne and Jay, who were the commentators on the French stream, because it was happening simultaneously to the final.
Yeah.
And myself. I was the only other person who got to watch that match. And it was closer than I expected, I'll be honest with Carol. It was nice. It was a fun watch as well. So I recommend that one.
Did you
If
mention
you're still itching
who
for
it was?
GP. So it was Neo versus Carol
Right.
was the third place match, which Neo ended up winning 3-1.
Yeah, I was updated by ear live, the scores of that. And I heard Carol won the first one, right?
Correct. Yep.
Mhm.
And then I thought, well, maybe this is going to be something. And then won one. Well, then, yeah, okay. Seems fair. And then I didn't hear the score until Carol was right next to me. So I thought, that was a bit fast, huh?
Escalated quickly. Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, I don't think I watched that back. So could you talk a bit about your match, Carol?
Yeah, sure. I won the first cup, as Afango mentioned. I don't actually remember many of the details, but I think overall, Neo is still a cut above in Grand Prix, at least above me. Like the Neo, Sami, Scoop, the top 3 in SMK overall are also the top 3 best players in Grand Prix. And I still have a ways to go if I want to compete with those guys. I could win cups, and I could even win matches if I'm a little lucky. typically I'm not lucky at high profile matches, and this was no exception. I got sniped by Yoshi and trolled by Yoshi again, to the extent that Jay actually commented behind me that I must have done something wrong to Yoshi's mother in the past for me to deserve that treatment, and that made Neo burst out laughing while we were playing. And sadly, this cannot be heard back properly in the French stream, because Jay's commentary was very low volume in the recording. So, but it's well, let it be known here. And after that match, I issued a public apology to Yoshi for violating his mother, and hopefully, the past is the past, and we can move on, and he can leave me in peace during my important CDM matches.
Not bloody likely. But
I gotta try.
Yeah, you tried something.
I'm desperate.
I kind of got that. Well, good.
I realized, as Carol was talking, I realized there was one match I should have highlighted instead. That was mentioned very briefly earlier, and that was Carol's quarterfinal against Antistar. That was also a great match.
Yeah,
definitely worth a watch or a rewatch.
I don't think I'm even gonna say much about it, but I remember it well. That was something else.
Also involves a Yoshi egg.
Impressive in its own right.
Well, that's the egg. I mean, the egg.
Yep.
All right.
It epitomizes my CDM experiences since I started going to CDM in 2007. That those 5 seconds, or maybe it's like you can condense it into like 3 seconds with the snipe itself and my reaction after.
Yeah.
That's CDM for me, summed up
in a
nutshell.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Perfect. And I think that is a clip that Stinson or someone made.
Shout outs to Stinson for clipping a lot of these great SMK moments. Yes,
Absolutely, yeah. Well done on that.
Like the Sami wink on VL2.
Oh wow, that's something. That one should go into like a GIF on every message board post regarding Sami.
So cheeky.
That wink. Did you see it in the moment, Carol, or
No, I did not. I was too busy fuming at myself for making that mistake.
Right. Wow. So who's he winking at? The camera?
The people watching. Like, I got this.
Right. Well, that was good. Or, sneaky at best. All right. So I think that's it for the modes. Let's talk a little bit about the overall placements then, just to sum it up. So I announced during match race, I believe, that this is going down to the wire. CDM will probably be determined in the grand final of Grand Prix tomorrow, which is like a perfect story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't quite happen that way.
Yeah, unfortunately not true.
No. So it was determined in the semi-final, I believe.
That's my fault.
Everything is your fault, huh?
Kind of.
Which again harkens back to Yoshi, which...
No. Scoop is just better, so it wasn't really my fault, actually.
No, I remember specifically one moment. I don't know if it was the first cup or the second cup of Karol versus Scoob. And you, KVD, got a feather on like lap 2 of Choco Island 1. And it's like, okay, maybe KVD's luck is turning around. And then the very next lap, feather for Scoob. And you can just see it on your face. Like, you cannot make this up. You've got to be kidding me. This is happening again. And you actually burned your feather because then you would need a mushroom and then a feather.
Exactly. Or a red shell.
To catch up and win.
Yeah.
To defeat Scoob, who had the lead and had a feather and was, if you didn't get the correct item at that moment, you wouldn't win. And so you burned your lap skip and wound up getting nanners or green nanners the rest of the way. So, or coin nanners. And I'm going to use the proper item terminology. Everything's a nanner. Okay, you got the big nanners. Those are mushrooms. You got the tickler nanners. Those are feathers. Then red nanners and green nanners and shocking nanners or electric nanners or lightning bolts. Okay, so
And coins?
so everything's a nanner.
The double nanner. Those are the coins.
Oh, right. Okay.
Okay.
What about stars, though?
The invincible nanners.
Invincible nanners.
Oh.
Anyway, that's something I'm always sort of twisted when I hear someone wasting a feather, because the feather is good, but it's just not good enough. So you have to waste it, but it feels, from like a bystander perspective, it's like, why did he do that? Maybe Sko B is gonna mess up and somehow Carol's feather is gonna give him the win.
But
yeah.
If Scoop would have messed up, I wouldn't need the feather to win, and that's why if I want to change my chances of winning, I need a different item.
Yeah. So the best item was not good enough. You needed that in conjunction with another one.
Exactly.
And you needed them in the specific order, so the odds are...
No. I just need a red shell, so he has to burn the feather too.
Oh, the red shell would have done it, right?
Yeah.
You didn't need like mushroom feather or...
Well, that could also happen, but yeah, a red shell or a star would be the best items you can get to make him waste the feather.
Right. Yeah. But that's...
I don't know what a red shell is. It's a red nanner.
Oh, sorry, Dan.
It's gonna get confusing very fast. Anyway. Yeah, so it was during your semifinal versus Scoop that the CDM was determined. I mean, the overall.
And I should stress again that even if Scoop didn't pick up that feather, he would still have won that match. Obviously.
Right.
Yeah, that was just one race, but that kind of summarizes your CDM.
That's true. Like if I do
last decade
feel like I have a fighting chance, I usually get crushed by the game. Anyway.
So worth mentioning is that when Scoob beat you, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the exact moment when Scoob won the overall.
Yep.
And he had no.
Reaction.
No reaction at all.
No, nothing. No.
So he was just going to the next game and edging out that. That was all. But he had to have had some internal reaction.
Yeah, but he told me, like in these really big matches, he's just super hyper focused, and he didn't snap out of it.
Oh.
He wanted to preserve that focus for the final
Right.
and do a good performance. And
well, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, celebrating at that point doesn't really do you much good in terms of anything. You can wait a couple hours.
And also speaking volumes, I think, is the fact that after the trophies were handed out, 10 minutes after he was already playing Super Mario Kart again.
Wow.
I think he was playing Match Race against Jay or something. I don't remember exactly, but yeah.
He doesn't tire, huh?
No.
So, Scoob gets the battle mode, he gets a match race, and he gets the gold overall medal. So this was, again, Scoob's CDM, the third in a row.
Yeah.
So his dethroned Neo convincingly, I'd say, these days.
Yeah, he's shown that it was definitely no fluke.
Right. Maybe the first one people would think that.
He's the man to beat.
Yeah, definitely the man to beat now. And second place overall. Lafungo, do you have the scores by any chance?
Yes. So by over 1,000 points behind Scoob. Second place was Sami.
1,000 points. That's like a second place.
So 1,000 points is, I believe, the amount of points you get for winning a mode. No, that
Yeah.
can't be right.
Grand Prix.
No. 1,000
No,
points
the
is the
time trial.
differential
It's
between
the
winning
differential, yeah.
and getting second.
Oh, right. Okay.
So
Yeah.
even if Sami had beat Scoob in the final, he wouldn't have been champion. It ties back into wait, no, he did win. What am I saying?
Yeah. Match
Yeah,
race.
no, I'm confused. All right, yeah, match race. That's the one. Yeah, even if he had one match race, it wouldn't have been enough to be champ. And then, so yeah, Sami second, but that means that Neo was third by about 250 points. And that's the first time that Neo hasn't been first or second at a CDM since his very first one in 2005. So technically, the first time at a CDM, because that was still a CDF
Right.
at the time.
Yeah.
But it's the very first CDM where Neo is not top 2 overall.
But on the bright side of that, which I think Neo didn't find as easily as some others, but Sophie, for instance, was saying that Neo completed his medal collection during the CDM. So now he has gold, silver, and bronze in all modes and the overall.
Yeah, he
Right.
told me so himself, and he was pretty happy with that.
I
actually,
was happy with that. Okay.
yeah.
He
It's like
got
in
the
a way
cue he was
that makes
missing.
me kind of happy because I've now completed the collection. It's also the first time that he didn't win a single gold medal during a CDM.
All right.
So of course, there are
Since-
four modes to play for since 2005 because
Yeah.
this first CDM he didn't win any gold medals, obviously, as a rookie.
Still got 11th out of 28 though.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, also so the two medals he was were the third place overall, but also third place in GP.
Yeah, he never gets third place. He always gets the gold in Grand Prix normally.
Runner up 3 times.
Yeah.
Only 3 times. And then fourth with a gigantic gap. Like what is
Yes,
this?
yes.
I mean,
But
maybe
2,750 points is none other than Carol.
well done, Carol. I know you didn't feel too good about this CDM, but fourth, that's your. I mean,
That's the best I could have. That's the best I could achieve with
Yes.
these guys being pretty much all 3 world champion level. Yeah. So.
yeah, it feels like it's a toss-up between those 3. When you watch them play and whenever, that's the feeling you get. But Scoob has been edging it out consistently for a while. Anyway, you got 4th place. That's good for you, but they were pretty close to getting 5th, actually, right?
Yeah, definitely. If I did not win that quarterfinal against Antistar, I would have probably finished behind Antistar and Jay.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah. So Lafango, if you could just go down like the top 10, I guess, because beyond top 10, nobody cares.
Well, I don't know if I can comply to that one. All right, so yeah, so 5th was Jay, and he was a mere what is this? 29 points behind Carol. So that's nothing. That's like one match in group stage.
Yeah.
And getting a draw instead of a loss, or a win instead of a draw. Then 6 was Antistar. Then quite a large gap to number 7, Connor. Which I think that's his best placing at a CDM. Yes, it is, because last year he had got an 8th, which was his previous best.
Well, that's
Then-
still very good
Yeah.
by Connor. Come
Yeah,
on.
it's-
That's crazy.
He's gotten almost nothing but top 10s since he started attending CDM.
Is there a chance that this was the lowest ranked time trialer getting top 10 at the CDM?
I'm not sure. There's definitely a good chance because he got top 10. He got 9th, and he might have been outside the top 100. Could be Connor, yes.
All right, keep going.
Actually, even I don't know what is, because number 8 was Drew, and
Drew S.A.
Drew S.A. That's right. One of the few people to have his own chant at CDM.
Yeah.
And I think Drew is ranked under Connor in time trial. So Drew definitely doesn't care about.
No.
There was a different Drew chant back in 2008, when which was introduced by Tom the Gaffigan. And he started chanting, "I see your true colors shining through." I'm not making this up. You don't make that stuff up.
So, just as an anecdote, Drew is currently ranked number 112 in the PAL time trial rankings, and that is
He is 69th on NTSC.
He should probably go by his NTSC time trial rankings, though.
Yeah, but CDM's in PAL.
I know.
Oh. But also in PAL, he is only 5 spots ahead of Narne.
Ooh, that's the mark, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the mark.
Yeah. So 9th place was Layla. That's her best finish at a CDM. It's also her first top 10.
Mightily impressive.
Yeah.
She had gotten 11th twice.
I think this is my time to just throw this little tidbit in here. So Sami was playing absolutely bonkers during all the group stages for all the 4 modes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I think he even won all 4.
2 of them.
Just 2.
Yeah.
Time trial Grand Prix in Belgium.
Oh, sorry, 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So in Grand Prix, he seemed untouchable during group stage. But he had 1 tie, I believe, which was versus Layla. And that match you definitely need to rewatch. That one showed Layla pulled off some star driving. That was so much good. Just watch that one, yeah? Even though it doesn't contain Lafongo, do watch it.
How can it be a good match if it doesn't have
Probably not quite up to Lafongo level.
According to this, Sami beat Layla 39-36.
Yeah.
So it went to the wire, definitely.
Oh, no. Yeah, okay. So it wasn't a tie in that sense. Of course, no. But she was the closest one to beating him, or something like that.
Yeah, I can confirm that. Together with Salim.
It was 2-2 in...
Also surprising.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jay.
And Jay. True.
Yeah, so and then closing out the top 10, very sadly, not Lafongo, but actually Martin, who also got his first top 10 at a CDM. And that was a big improvement over his previous results. Because he got a quarterfinal in Grand Prix, which was, I think, the most surprising quarterfinalist.
I think what is perhaps most surprising about that statistic is the fact that if you told me beforehand that Aaron reached top 4 in match race, I would never believe that Martin would be the second-ranked guy in the Netherlands at the end of it all.
And if I count as being in the Netherlands for these statistics, then Aaron was actually number 4 in the Netherlands because at 11th we have Lafongo, myself.
I thought we were doing top 10.
And then at 12th we have Aaron because his Grand Prix was terrible. He tanked very hard.
Yeah, we've got to give shout-outs to our president, Adrien Garot, for knocking out Aaron in the barrage.
Yes, that's true.
Even though Aaron didn't perform to the level you would expect from a player of his caliber, it's still quite cool that Adrien managed to rise to the occasion.
Absolutely, and I think he even made a comeback. It was a special cup, if I remember correctly, and I think Aaron got an early lead, and Adrien just came back and ended up winning on Rainbow Road.
So, salutation, whatever you say in French.
Yeah, who knows French? I was receiving, not taking, but receiving French classes during my commentary by people in chat and people by my side, and I think to everyone's frustration, I had a couple of goes before I decided, nah, this is not for me, huh? So yeah. That's how I ended up calling people Silver Jesus and Com Legend, at least.
Were you responsible for Silver Jesus?
Well, I haven't heard any of those 2 names before, but that's just how I said it when I saw it. So yeah, it may be me. Yeah, Com Legend is older, right?
Yeah, Come Legend is pointed out by Mol, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, that kind of sums up CDM in a short way. I mean, I could give shout outs
Short.
to. Well, it's not short, but you know, when I read like you had some posts, Carol, about shout outs during CDM and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like a couple of walls of texts, and I'm sure
I
you
still
still
need to
feel.
write mine.
Huh?
I still need to write mine. It's overdue already.
Famous last words.
Yeah, yeah. Demain. Yeah, that's when I'll write it tomorrow.
All right. Well, one of the things is with CDM, and I know Scoob wants to grow the FFSMK channel. But one of the things is you guys take these really long breaks, and we all know that you need to take those breaks. You guys need to eat. You guys need to have lunch and dinner. I mean, that's not going to be something that you can skip. But I mean, between group stage and the barrage or round of 16, there's like an hour break. And then between quarters and semis, there's like an hour break or something like that. I mean, is it possible to like just have a volunteer sheet and say, you know what, let's get 3 people, 2 people to play Super Mario Kart, and then 1 person to run the stream and do commentary. You know, just do it for a half hour. Get a bunch of people to just volunteer and, you know, play the game, do commentary, interact with chat, so that the people on Twitch that are watching this and are really interested in watching this, because the esports game arena channel had over 200 viewers a lot of times, and FFSMK had over 50 viewers most of the time. But then these really long downtimes come and you lose your viewership. And this is like right before the semis and the finals happen, and it like the absolute most interesting times, and people go away. So what I'm trying to say is to keep that viewership and keep people interacting and entertained. It wouldn't be too much to ask to just say, hey, get 3 or 4 people to sacrifice a half hour of their 2-hour break of their dinner time to go stream, be part of that interaction, that stream, that Twitch commentary. And I mean, it would just hold the Twitch audience so much better, and it would increase the FFSMK followership a lot more and just keep people interested more. That's just one of the things that I know me and Joe and Guillerme had mentioned earlier that I wanted to bring up. So that's something that Scoob and the French SMK crew need to figure out. And that's something that, well, pretty much everyone that puts on this whole thing need to consider. So I don't know.
You mean Scooby?
Scalby.
Who's the Scoop you're talking about?
Well,
No, I think
anyone that's part of this, you know, trying to build this Twitch viewership. And another thing that I kind of wanted to address was how Sammy wrote up his post CDM update on the SMK site. But let's I'll address that in a little bit. But what do you guys think? I mean, is it going to be possible for you guys to, if you say you have a 2-hour break, can you get a dozen people to be like, yeah, I'll volunteer and go play Super Mario Kart, or I'll volunteer and commentate while these two play whatever
absolutely.
mode they want to play?
I think it's very possible.
Yeah, and if you're just gone, if you're playing for a half hour, you can still go get your food, go get your dinner, and you can take your half hour, then go get your dinner, or you can have dinner, eat quickly, and then be like, yeah, I'm going to volunteer to do this stuff, so I got to eat fast and go do this. And then I mean, people that are actually doing that, if they have Twitch channels, they'll get a little more exposure. Or if they just want to do it to have fun, that's something as well. So
I think it can be done, and one of the I'm gonna be giving a bit of a joke answer, but I think if you just put Sami there and let him play MC1 on MBT, the break would be filled. All the breaks would be filled.
I actually didn't see him playing MC1 non-MT at all this year.
No, he didn't.
Which was very strange.
I was talking about having sort of a love-hate relationship, but it was more on the hate side these days.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Wow, I've never heard him talk about MC1 like that.
I can see it.
Anyway, Dan, you made yourself very clear that that's not the issue, but I don't want to get into a position where I'm making, quotation marks in the air excuses for every point you brought up. In general, I agree. I don't necessarily agree those are the only options or solutions, but that's fine. But we would have to change. I say we, but CDM would have to change in some way to accommodate this. I mean, the idea of having old matches run during breaks is probably the best one in my opinion.
It's one way to solve it, but I don't see how CDM would have to change. You still take your breaks at the correct time, at the normal time, and have the same length of breaks, but you just have 3 out of the 60 people that are there. Just say, okay, we're going to go on stream.
God, do you think, to be honest, you would
exchange for another half hour for other 3 people?
But then, do you think it would retain viewership? Like if I was watching, let's say, a Champions League semi-final between Real Madrid and Barcelona, and then there's 2 hours later there's Manchester United against Manchester City, and then they offer in the meantime like a training video of people playing, I would probably not be watching that.
You know what? Honestly, if I got interaction in chat with someone that was on stream, if you showcased Sophie versus Narnet, or however you say that name, Narnet is how I read it, because I'm American.
Narneto Guevara.
If you show those two and have Patrick commentate on it, I would watch and I would be typing in chat and laughing along with the 3 of those people going.
But you are But you are a
Layla
community member, though.
Lafungo with Connor commentating. We could all interact, and there. But
you're talking about retaining hundreds of viewers, and those viewers don't have attachments to the community like you do.
Man, I agree somewhat with the Esports Game Arena website. They're just looking for the high-level players, but FFSMK, the people that tune into that website are all about the Super Mario Kart community.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's merit to what you're saying, absolutely. But
so if you want to grow that channel, and if you want to keep viewers locked in, that's something that, and I mean, what does it hurt? It's not gonna drive people away. More than likely, it's gonna keep people engaged. I mean, if you like your analogy before, if you offer one really high-level football match and then another really high-level football match, and then on the same channel you offer a mediocre level match,
it's not about the level, it's about what's on stake.
It's less than, but still, at least it's something.
Yeah, you're right.
Something in the game instead of a camera showing people walking around and not engaging the viewers.
I can see how it could be engaging, yes.
Okay, so
absolutely.
Again, I don't want to get into like a whole song and dance about this because it's not entirely up to any one person. But I am apparently. So if you want to keep on running the stream, I mean, if you want to keep on running matches, that's one thing, or you want to run casuals, that's a bit different. But you would need those volunteers to know how to run the stream, which basically is down to Patrick and, I mean, maybe 2-3 others. That's it. So those would be.
Really, is that it? Because I stream and I'm pretty much computer illiterate.
No,
and I'm
this
still
was not
able
an easy
to
setup.
run a stream.
No, the setup was hard. I stream I've streamed hundreds of times. This stream setup was not easy.
It took me a couple of days to get hang of it, actually. But I was never given... yeah. Whatever. I really think having a playlist of old matches is the way to go, and that was planned, right, Carol?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But due to the problems we encountered at day one and Patrick having to already splice himself in 3, we couldn't make it happen.
And I definitely hear your criticism, and I've always been the same way watching CDM. The downtime just kills me. The hour and a half, maybe 2 hours there during dinner break, where I'm just, okay, so I got to do something else. I can't sit here watching this. That's awful for the flow of the game, the interest, the hype, everything sort of takes 2 steps back at that point. So, and I think that's exactly why Carol and Patrick decided to try to have matches run during the downtime, right?
Yeah, but I think actually, in a sense, Dan's proposal is better because you then are directly interacting with people live at the venue. If you can find the volunteers, then that would be the better solution. Yeah,
and if and when I do return to a CDM, more than likely when, not if. I mean, I didn't make out with Carol and get a 5-year restraining order like I had tried to do in 2015. But so, I mean, when I came back, I would be one of the first ones to be like, yeah, I will go play for the stream and I will talk to people who want to chat with me on the stream. I would be all in on that. I guarantee Joe would be. I guarantee Guilherme would be.
That's all fine, but there was no actual setup to be able to do that easily.
True. The stream and the game setup was physically separated, separate rooms. So that would have to change.
I must be. I mean, the setup this year must have been way different than it was in the
it was.
Then.
Yeah.
Okay.
More professional.
I mean, that's my vision of CDM, which is another thing that I kind of want to bring up, but that's, I don't know. But like the Lassus it was so much simpler, where there was just, I mean, it was a guy just to the left of me, and I was on the TV just to the right of him, and I played, and I could actually physically hear him on commentary on the stream. The one chance I got to be on stream for one of my GP rounds. So the setup at your place at the Dutchy venue must have been a lot different, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. The casters were in a different room, as was the stream itself.
Interesting.
Even the stream and the casters were separated.
Yeah, by a wired headset, so there was no easy walking back and forth either. It was, I mean, I wish I got into it a bit sooner at the start when Patrick was setting up. We could have made a slightly better setup for that. But, part of the whole break thing is the social aspect. When you, every day I would, find a few guys or girls and just have lunch somewhere, because I didn't eat at the venue except for the pizzas. And that was just super cool as well. I got so little time to interact with people because I was always doing commentary. So the breaks, although I complained a lot, were long, were my social part of the CDM.
Okay, on that point, I am going to disagree with you there in a nutshell. But the reason why, okay, so your main focus this last CDM was commentary, and on breaks you got to do socialization. So why not people that are playing and then on breaks come do the Twitch thing, but just for like a quarter of the break? I mean, that is really not too much to ask, in my view. You take a half hour out of your time of socialization to socialize with people that are on the internet instead of at the actual venue. And then once you're done with your little shift, playing the game and doing commentary and interacting, then walk around and have dinner, have lunch with everyone else that's there and socialize with them. I really don't see how that's a problem. And that's where my view kicks in.
No, it's not a problem. I think Sargot is just mentioning why it didn't happen this year. It's because he was basically locked up in commentary, but that
and
doesn't
Sargoth is unique in that, and he's like locked in 100% to the commentary and to the stream, versus someone, you take me at CDM 2015, where I was just kind of there to have a good time, and I mean, I sort of competed, but not really. If I had the opportunity to go on Twitch and have a good time with people that were watching, I would have totally done it. I guarantee there's at least 10 people.
Oh yeah, I don't think we'll have problems
15
finding
people that are going to be there that aren't going to even finish in the top 20.
Yeah.
Just be like, you know what, I want to hang out with people that are online and give them a little bit better time than a webcam that's shooting over the venue and seeing people walk around and talk with each other, and we can't even hear anything. I
can summarize that you are not a fan of slow TV.
Well, that's just the thing. I mean, it's like you get an hour and a half or 2 hours of just absolutely top tier level Super Mario Kart, and then all of a sudden it's like 2 hours of watching people walk around and sit at a table. And then you get another 2 hours of top tier Mario Kart. Why not do 2 hours of top tier Mario Kart, 2 hours of mid tier to high tier Mario Kart, and people laughing at themselves, and people interacting with chat, and people just in general wanting to have a good time while playing the game we all love? And then go back to 2 more hours of the absolute best in the world. It would hold viewers better. It would.
It's just a different mindset. I think so far, CDM is usually catered for the participants themselves, and the general attitude has been like, if you are this passionate about the event, you would be there. However, there is merit to your statement, and if you want to do that, you just have to cater more to the viewers. Which is not the number one priority and has never been, but it could easily be implemented.
Okay, so that comes up to the next thing that I wanted to mention. So when I read Sami's last update last Monday about this being the best CDM ever, and this is the direction that we need CDM to go, I brought it up in this Carthritis Discord, and I said, well, what do these French guys think about this statement? And for the most part, it was like, well, yeah, this was the best CDM ever, and from what I heard. But if I were a guy that dedicated the last decade to making CDM and always having it in Lassus or wherever, and then all of a sudden it got moved to a different venue and it had a little different focus. It was a little bit more the esports sort of thing. And all of a sudden, the godfather of SMK said, wow, this was amazing, and this is how we need to do it. I would feel slapped in the face if I read that. And I had been like, I've been doing this for the last 10 years, and now we do it in a different spot, and it's 100% better. And what I just did was basically useless. That's kind of how I read what Sami wrote, even though that's not what he meant, and I 100% know it's not what he meant. So
no, I think it's no one in particular would be offended by that, because the CDMs have pretty much been organized by different people every year. So it's not like there's one person that spent a decade organizing all previous CDMs.
Okay.
It's like this 1 year, Anti-Star 1 year, Neo 1 year.
It's also worth mentioning that it's not the esports thing alone that drove Sami to write that. because it's not the first attempt at an esports CDM.
Indeed.
And the previous one, the first attempt, was Strasbourg in 2016, and that's generally considered to be the worst modern CDM.
Indeed.
So this was very much about the overall experience beyond just esports. And as Carol mentioned, the team behind making CDM happen changes year to year. And also, even within France, the venue tends to change every year as well. There have been like a couple venues that have been reused, like La Suze, but even then, it wasn't consecutive years.
And by and large, the current CDM, the one that was held in the Netherlands, was also organized by the Frenchies, just in the Netherlands.
See, because when I read his write-up of that, I'm like, geez, what are these guys thinking about this statement that just happened? And it's very public. I mean, I would be taken aback by that if I was part of the crew that always organized this, and then it changed suddenly. And it, again, I'm not even close to anything that organizes this stuff, but if like from what I understood initially, and apparently it's wrong, but from what I understood, it's like one group was always organizing CDM, and one or two or three people may have changed, but it was basically the same group, and now it changed to a different group in a different country.
It's changed a few times through the years, but it's not accurate. I guess that it's different every year. Like the same group that organized the 2017 one in La Suze with Adrien and Tanatix actually organized the current one too in the Netherlands, and that's probably why it didn't feel as much as like a slap in the face.
Okay, well, see, in the initial reading of the statement, I didn't know that. So that's one thing that I kind of wanted to bring up. So why exactly was this the best CDM ever? I mean, was it the competition was at such a high level and so balanced between the top 3, maybe 4 players? Or was it more because, you know, the esports thing, and it had so many viewers on Twitch, or there were a lot of people at this bar that were very interested in top level Super Mario Kart play, or what was going on there?
I think it was not per se the best CDM ever, though I may have said that. It's very hard to objectively rank CDMs and compare them with each other. It was one of the best ones.
Now, from Sami's statement, he made it pretty clear that this.
Well, that was Sami's own sentiment, though, I guess. I think a lot of it boils down to, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lafango and Marius is. Well, Marius has only been to one CDM, so he has no measuring stick.
No, I've just been a
whatsoever.
Viewer list previously, yeah.
I think also the bonds between players grow throughout the years, and that's also the social aspect is. It seems like we're having more fun with each other as the years pass. Even and it was already a lot of fun, like 10 years ago. But that as we're getting more mature, it becomes more important.
More mature just means I'm getting really old. That's KVD in a nutshell.
No.
Can confirm.
Maybe I should have picked my words more carefully.
Any chance to make you feel old, I will take.
On the same boat there. But so to add to what Carol's saying, I think more specifics of like this venue in particular that made it a really good CDM. You know, whether it's the best or not, you know, that's another discussion that may not even be needed. But regardless, so one of the things was the media coverage was by far the best a CDM has ever had. And you could tell there was so there were local and national newspapers that showed up on several days, and they were a lot more respectful overall, I would say, than prior media coverage that had happened at CDMs in France. So like they weren't like in the players' faces, or they weren't like interrupting matches, which I'm fairly sure has happened before.
Okay.
That
It
kind of
actually
thing.
happened during the CDM too a couple of times. There was a lot of media presence. Like at any given moment, there was always media in the venue. It felt like so.
And beyond that, and maybe even more exciting, or more that helped the atmosphere, was that there were a lot of other like just random local people in the venue who just dropped by, checked out, like got a drink at the bar, watched some Super Mario Kart, maybe even played some games on an empty setup. And there's a lot of enthusiasm from local players or local people just coming and checking it out and seeing what this event was about. So I think that definitely that helped build the atmosphere. So it wasn't just us CDM participants. We also got extra energy from a crowd of unknown people who were discovering SMK.
Let me do two very
Okay.
quick shout-outs on that. The guys at the venue, Marcel, Thomas, Johan, there was Richard as well.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant guys, all of them.
The venue was also great, not just the location itself, but also the people who were working at the venue. So it was a bar, and they were all very enthusiastic as well about CDM, and they watched the matches, like the finals especially. And I think the owner even like tried some SMK with Carol at some point, right?
Yep.
And these were people who had never seen SMK, at least not in competition. So it was very pleasant atmosphere to be in, having all these new people discover SMK.
Okay, so from what I'm hearing is kind of what I figured that Sami was saying is like, this was an awesome CDM and this is the direction we need to go. Is it's becoming more, more public, more recognized that how these top level players are just so good. So I don't know if I can describe it correctly, but I mean, having an Usain Bolt of SMK going up against Carl Lewis of SMK, going up against, well, I hate to say it because he looks so much like him, the Roger Federer of SMK. So,
Yep.
so from what I'm hearing is like, even if it was in Lassus, but you got the coverage that you got in this Netherlands venue, that's what made it so much better, is kind of what I'm hearing. And also, you guys have known each other and you've been together for what, 15 years or so, and this is the time of year that you all get together and be like, hey, what's going on, KVD? Hey, what's going on, Sargoth? We finally get to meet face to face.
Yeah, Dan, that's the
love.
point I was trying to make, but you're doing it much more eloquently than I was doing it.
So
thanks.
I mean, but the thing is, from my concern after reading Sami's post, it's been answered, and I kind of knew that was the answer that I was going to get, but I just wanted to make it painfully clear that it's like, we always will appreciate everything that everyone that's been involved with CDM has done, and the people that organize this and put it on and stream it, and rank players, they get all the results, and rank players and get all the group stages going on, and the barrage and knockout stages going on, and get the tournament flowing, get the prizes out, organize all the food and beer consumption. I gotta mention that. I mean, everything that everyone has done in the past is very appreciated, and
100%
there's a little
true.
there may be a little recency bias here too, but if this was the best CDM, we need to make it clear on the specific reasons why this was the best. And we got to combine elements of this one with elements of past ones that we really, really loved to continue it forward.
To be honest, I don't think this was a standout for being the very best. I mean, there's been great CDMs before, and the recency bias probably comes into play. But I think, as far as the stream goes, it was the best stream we've ever done, because of the dedicated English commentary this time for the first time ever. And we've done English commentary before, but usually it was like in between pure French commentary. So in that sense, it was the best CDM we've done stream-wise and exposure-wise. And I think the exposure would tick Sami's box in particular, because he's always on about recruiting as many cards as he can. And that's probably why he is even more excited than the average CDM participant about this extra exposure.
Yes, exposure. And also, I think maybe I'm reading too much into what Sami's saying, but at least what I see in terms of let's follow this path, I think it's not just that we got the exposure, but it's at the same time we got to keep the grassroots CDM experience, because that is one thing that was sacrificed in 2016 quite a bit, and CDM suffered a lot for it. So the one of the great things about this CDM is that we got the exposure without having to really pay the price of the CDM feeling.
I think the 2016 one gets a lot of bad rep because of, like unjustifiably so, because it just happened to be fucking 40 degrees the entire time. Yeah, so everyone was just like every minor thing that happened would instantly piss you off. Like on a warm day, I get angry when I can't open the fridge.
That's true.
Right? But yeah, of course, there was a lot of noise and it wasn't perfect, and the air conditioning died, and yada yada yada. Yeah. So we got kicked out of the venue at 12 sharp. So all those things combined added up to probably the least enjoyable CDM experience that we've had, and that was definitely better this year. I
just want to say, I think CDM is an amazing event, and we're extremely lucky as a community to have it for our game, and that it's great that we have people who still put in the effort every year to make sure it happens, and we all get together for our yearly 1 week vacation playing.
That's a good note to end on, and I also think it doesn't necessarily need to go in any direction. If it stays right where it is, it's perfect.
Yeah, I agree with that. So let's end it for real, people. Yeah. It's been good, long, and fruitful. I'm sure there's a joke there somewhere, but thanks everyone for coming on and talking about CDM. It's been cool. So see you soon, huh?
Yep. Laters.
See ya.
Bye bye.